Okay, so we are live now, and I had this drawing of Rumi from K-pop Demon Hunter made and ready, and today I just wanted to start painting and rendering it, so add some light and shadow and start rendering this one. I'm hoping that this would be part of a bigger painting, so eventually I will add the other characters into this. Not sure how that is going to look like exactly, but that is the plan. So the way I do things is I like to just generally start in grayscale. So as you can see, I have the character all masked. Maybe you can't see exactly my layers, but let's see. Maybe I can move my head. Maybe I can be here. Yeah. So you can see the layer here. I have it all as gray, and then I will lock that and I will start adding some basic light and shadow. Essentially my light, my plan is that the light is coming, and I have a reference for that. My light is coming from this side, and so there will be light here and then shadow on the other side. So we can just start doing that. So you can use any, I start with a hard round brush. You can use any you like, but start adding some basic light and shadow shapes. And then I'll add color afterwards, but I like to start with grayscale first. And then I add my colors using other layer modes on top of it after. I like to work zoomed out as much as I can. And then we can later on, like this is basic. I don't really need to be too detailed into the exactly how the light and shadow goes. This is just giving myself basic guideline once I start going more into it. Another thing that is good to do is also add maybe some of the local values. So for example, I know the hair probably a bit darker, so we can just make it darker so that when we add light and shadow to it, it already has a little bit of basic value in it as well. Right? So that's for the hair. The shirt is white, so we'll keep it as is. And my scene is going to be more of a darker scene. That's why you can see the background I have as darker for now, just to give me that idea, so that when I start adding my values and I start adding color, I have that base already there. Right, and then we come to the arm, so the light and shadow shapes. You know it's coming this way. Right. Same goes here. Darker. Same here. These are generally darker as well. Yeah, so that gives the general understanding or general idea of how the light and shadows will go. We can start adding more detail if we want. And as you can see, my my line art layer is separate. So when I'm adding these light and shadow shapes, I'm not interfering. I'm not going on top of it. I'll merge things after. So let's add some light layers now. I keep going and selecting the values, so I keep changing them to help me be quicker. The light again. The light here. This is supposed to be also darker, the bottom of the hand. Let's go light. Perfect. This is good for now. Then we can add the colors now on top of this. And then I'll start adding separating all the different parts into different layers and then start rendering properly. But for now, this is, I think, generally a good start. Yeah. Okay, so what I'll do next is I will copy these two layers and then I will merge them so we can hide the other ones and group them, maybe hide it. So we have this. And then I'll go on top of it and add an overlay mode. And then we can start adding. One thing that I want to do is the background, because I want this to be that dark purpley scene. So maybe the background, I'll add a little bit of that to it so that when we're adding the skin color, it doesn't look weird. Because if the background, the environment is more purple, then the skin color should also have a different color as well. You can't just add the general yellow, orange, red tones. We'll have to add more of the purple in there as well. So now if we come here and start adding a little bit of color to the face, you can add just general colors everywhere. Just using overlay mode. The hair as well. I like this method because if I don't like it, I can change it pretty quick. So the skin again, maybe. The lighter areas can be more towards the red. and the darker area is more towards the purple. Right? And then if we go to the clothing, because it's white, supposed to be white, it will take the color of the environment mostly, which is close to purple, but it's light, so we just won't add too much. That here should be more dark. Same with here. And then the other thing, we have some gold. So the gold, this is all gold. So make it more red. Here also. Okay, so this is where we're at. Now the hard part comes in, where we start separating all the layers. One more thing that I'll add is these ones here. This is not important now, but it's good to get an idea. Is that? Oh, should be more. Then once we render, we can actually make these look better, but for now, it's just a placeholder. Give us an idea. Oh, forgot also the lips. We can add that. Okay. General idea. So then we will copy this again, those two layers, and merge them together. Now the tedious part. So now I like to separate different things into different layers, and then from there I can just render things one thing at a time without having to worry too much about what is happening or the other layer. So for example, I will come here. Oh, I think one thing that here it's supposed to be blank. That's okay. Yeah. So what I'll do now is, for example, I'll go to my selection, my lasso tool, and I will select the face, for example. Use this one. I know this takes time, but it will save me more time afterwards. And you'll see why I'd like to do it this way. Okay, and then I will cut this into a different layer. So that's Control-Shift-J. You can see now that is its own layer. And then I'll do that for many different things. So We can have, for example, the hair. Yeah. That's the front of the hair. So that's that. We can do maybe back of the hair as well, or the top of the hair. Uh, we separate that also. So maybe we can start rendering for now these parts and then see. Oh, let's just do maybe the clothing and then we can start rendering. Let's separate this. We can separate this one as well. Okay, so one of the things is that for now I can leave it out, but essentially later on when I'm rendering now, I don't want to worry too much about the markings on her face because it's going to take too much time to separate that. So I'll have the line art later on, like if I need it, so then I can come add those in later. But for now, we can just start rendering the face. And the reason I separate all these so that I can lock it now, I can lock the face. So if I start rendering, I'm only doing it inside. I like to do it with start with a soft round brush. Some people don't like that, but that's how I prefer doing it. And then to make hard edges, I just make my brush smaller. But the other way of doing it is to just use a hard round brush first and then softening the edges after. Both work, but this is how I like to start. So when I'm choosing my shadow colors, I'm going more towards the purple. And then when I'm doing the lights, I go more towards the red and the orange. And that's how I give the color variation into my piece. But because I have a base, I can just color pick. I don't have to worry too much about choosing the colors that I need. Zoom out first, zoom in later. Always try and work out and then zoom out as much as I can. And then I start adding details afterwards. Yeah, so that's kind of the process. But the trick that I think is important is to try and use and turn some of these soft edges into a little bit of a hard edge by either choosing a hard round brush or reducing the size of the brush to don't make everything so soft. Because when everything is soft, it has a certain look that sometimes not very pleasing. It looks very muddy and brushed. So it's good to always go back and add some hard edges as well. So let's go really dark here and here. And we can go hard round brush and zoom in a bit to the eyes. I like to do the eyes on a separate layer for some reason. I don't know, just makes me more comfortable. If I make a mistake, I just delete it and then I merge after. Eyes are never purely white, so as you can see, the color that I chose has a little bit of color into it. And this side is even darker. It's really dark. Okay. Then the eyelashes. Maybe we do the eyeballs first. Do the eyeballs first. Let's go a bit lighter. Same thing here. They always flip the canvas. Not bad. Still looks okay. Now let's do the eyelashes. Same on the other side. Add a bit of light in the eyelashes to give it a bit of shape. See here. And we can make it darker on the top, casting a shadow. Make it lighter here. And then we can also add the bottom. The bottom eyelid and eyelashes. And then there's always like there's a thickness to, we can add that now just so that I can show you. Same here. And there's the highlight. Add the highlight just for reference for now. Highlight makes a big difference when we add it. Eyes look dead without it. Okay, and then characters have like gold. Here. Darker. But yeah, there's gold. These are details that we can add later, but here now, so. And let's go dark. It's part of the eyelid. Same with the bottom eyelid. Give it a bit of shape and form. Darker here. Darker. Merge these now. And then we can go light. Gives it a bit of form. There we go. Darker here. Same here, we go lighter here. And darker here. Let's get the hard round brush and add a little bit of light and shadow here as well. I'm gonna go darker for these really dark edges. Cast shadows here. But we shouldn't lose the shape. We can add a bit of highlight here. Oops, it's too saturated. Okay. Do the head as well. Okay, so we got a bit of that done. We can come back and add other stuff later to it. But one important thing that I like to do at this stage is I create a new layer, go on top, go overlay, go red, saturated red, to add some color variation in some places that there's transition between light and shadow. And the reason for that is that you know, if we look at our skin, a lot of places we can see, especially when the light hits, you can see a lot of that red blood flow. So I like to add that just so that we have that color variation. And then generally speaking, the bottom is more grayed out and the top is more yellow. So we can add that a little bit too. Kind of like that. Just gives a little bit of color variation. And we can merge those layers. We can come back here. Add a bit more detail. More shadows here. Same here. We can go highlights here. right, for now that's okay. We can add more details later. Let's do the lips a little bit. It's darker. Top lip is darker just because it's in shadow, it's not catching the light. And the bottom lip is brighter because it's catching the light. So always think about the direction of these shapes, where are they going and such, because it helps make things look a little bit better. And then here we said it's more light, it's brighter. The one thing is that lips are not all hard edges, so we should be careful not to make those just a hard round brush everywhere, because then it looks weird with those lines. I know with lipstick sometimes we create those, but it's good to play around between hard and soft edge when it comes to the lips. I'll go darker. Go here. And we add highlights on top of the lips. Our round brush. I don't render everything fully. I get it to a certain point and then I move to the next part and then come back again later. Because the painting just evolves, right? So it's good to move on from one spot to the next. And then we can see it get to where it needs to get. Oh. I think this just needs to be a little bit more dark, this cast shadow. Or this shadow transition. Do the eyebrows too before we forget. I do have some custom brushes that I sometimes use, but you really don't need any of that stuff. You can just make it work as is with what we have. So that's the face, general idea of the face. We can come back to it later. Let's do a little bit of the neck. Before I do that, let me separate this. Do the neck. Soft round brush. You can see I keep switching between soft round brush and the hard round brush. Okay. All right. So we did a bit of the neck. Now let's go to the clothing. This one. There's part of it that's gold, so let's separate those ones. Example, this one here is all gold. I'm pretty sure that's how it goes. Is it? Looking at a reference. No, it's just the edge. Just the top edge. Just this. It's gold. This is gold. This is gold. This is gold. And this triangle is gold. Star. We can separate those into its own layer so that I don't paint over it. Okay. Now when I come to this, okay, so this is supposed to be white, right? So because it's supposed to be white, it catches the light or the light from the environment, the color from the environment. So the color from the environment, trying to have it more purple, blue, so and dark. So we can add, oh, I made it. Let's see. Yes. Add it back here. There. Stop it again. There's a cast shadow here, first of all. Very important. under this, because this folds. And then behind here, all of that is cast. And go to the soft round brush, blend part of it. This is supposed to be cast shadow like that. Okay. And then cast shadow under here. Shadow here. Light is not really hitting it. Let's see, it's turning purple. Supposed to be, because that is what the environment is. I know it's supposed to be white, but... And then there's cast shadow here. I'll go hard round brush. And add it. Even be darker. Come back here. Then we have the light comes here. A little shadow here probably. Like that. And we can go hard round brush, add some of these details. Just like that. This comes down. Goes there. Let's go to the light. Add some light. Give it form. Okay. Shadow there, light back in. There's also darker here. Same here. This is dark. Then let's use a hard round brush to add the hard edges. Light here, like that. Same here. And play, another reason why on different layers is nice, we can play around with it, see what fits. Maybe it's too pink now, so maybe I reduce the saturation a bit, make it more bluish, maybe. That's pink, purple, yeah, maybe there, maybe that's better. Yeah, that's better. A little bit more blue, purple rather than pink. You can even look at the face and see what do we have here. You see, like if we bring it back, this would be regular lighting, but because I'm turning the lighting afterwards, or the lighting is a dark scene and more blue and purple, that's why I had the different colors. So that's that. And then we can do maybe a little bit of this gold. What layer is this on? Okay, let's remove some of this gold and add it to the other gold. Right? Yeah. And let's also fix this. This looks weird. Okay. Back to the gold. What's the other gold is right here. We can bring the two layers, merge them. We got the gold all in one. And then I can go turn them into gold. I like to start painting gold. I like to start dark, desaturated. Okay, so one thing we need to do is remove these. Then I can add them to the hair layer. So I like to work in layers because I can separate these and I don't have to worry too much about what happens afterwards. So now if I lock it and paint like that, the dark color, yeah, that works. Then I can come back here and add. Oh. Oh, I see. I made a mistake here. Okay. Let's go back. I see. That's fine. Keep this one here on top. Come here. Or let's bring this back on top. Hmm. Okay. Here. Really? Okay. If we come here, let's do it again. Yeah. That is better. Now we go highlight color and add. That's how I do metals. Really bright color. saturated, and we can add those. Maybe this even needs to be even darker. Yeah, let's go like that. Let's go back to this. Bring the line art so that I can do it properly. Add it here, here, here. Thing about metals is all about contrast. So that's why it's good to think about that. Let's bring that back again. I think I see, that's the ear. Awesome. Let me remove the lock layer, it'll be easier. Okay, then we go back to the highlight color. Add it here, here, here. It's better. Fix that. Okay. I feel like the hair is interfering with everything. I just need to move this up. Okay, that's better. So now when I come and add, okay, that's better. One thing that metal has is it also reflects the colors around it. So it's good to add a bit of purple to it, to the highlights especially. And we can also go make these darker. The darks darker, the lights lighter. Okay, I think that's good. We can do a similar thing here. We just add same here. And here as well. We can just go that. Let's go really dark. For this. Really light. And then just add more. A bit more detail like that. Again, reflection of other colors around it, so we can just add a bit of purple into it. That dark purple here. There we go. Here as well, we can add purple. Okay. This is where we're at. This is gonna take a while, but we can do as much as we can today, and I can continue this afterwards. Let's do the ears before we forget. Ears are not that difficult to do. Again, I'm using a hard round brush here. Let's do the darks first. Also, something to keep in mind afterwards, ears also, we should add the reds into it. You can use an overlay mode afterwards. Like that. A little more light. And then really dark for some of these areas. Let's go soft brush, soften the edge here. Yeah, and then, like I said, overlay. Let's go red, add a little bit of that blood flow. Maybe that's too much. Bring it down a bit. Then merge it. Subtle, but it's good. Okay, so that's where we're at with the face. Maybe let's try for fun, just add these markings on the face. So I brought back the line art layer just so that we can see where those go. And I had it as, I think this color is good. Yeah, oh yeah, this is good. Then we'll add some color variation into it. But this is just my guideline. The other way of doing it is using the lasso tool and just select these things and add them. But we can just do this for now. These markings have hard edges, that's why I'm using the hard round brush rather than a soft one. Okay. Doing the line art layer. Okay, that's not bad. Let's go to this and clean up. We come here, let's adjust the edges. And we gotta add glow to this, to these shapes. Come back here. I'm gonna create a new layer, go on top of it. First, I'm gonna make this one a little bit darker, a more saturated and darker. And then I'll add a layer on top of it. I'm gonna go hard light. I'm gonna go more towards the blue. Yeah, that's perfect. So go soft. Actually, I don't think it needs to be on top of it because the glow. Oh, maybe it does need to be on top. Like this. So these markings have their own glow, so they don't really need to follow the light and shadow directions there completely because they are generating their own thing. But we can erase some of this. That shape. I don't know, maybe it is too a little bit more blue, less saturated. That's good. Maybe it was too dark. How about this? And this looks okay. Let's flip canvas. I haven't flipped in a while. It looks okay. I think. Okay, so this is where we're at. So this was good. Now let's do the hair a little bit. Let's move on to something different. Hair. To bring the hair on top, actually. Okay. So hair is also all about shapes because we don't want to paint every single hair strand. So how we can do it, let me lock the layer first. Some of my shapes are already defined. Have it all as purple. Maybe we can make the shadows more towards the blue. Just like that. I'm just using a hard round brush. Nothing crazy. Right. Add these shapes here. Just like that. Okay. Okay, so then I'm gonna go to the light colors and add some of those shapes. Always thinking about the direction of light and shadow in adding these things. I know the light is coming from the right, so this is where these lights go, these highlights or light shapes. Because we don't want to be drawing every single hair strand. That's not how we draw hair. Can, but it's sometimes it ends up being looking weird. And just thinking about general shapes and adding light and shadows, like grouping them and adding light and shadow shapes is the way to go. Just like that. Okay. Let's go really dark. Add these shapes here. There we go. I do have a brush that I like to use. I got this brush from Xiao when I did my internship with her. Yeah, she had a brush for hair. It adds more texture, but as you can see, even just the hard round brush was just enough to get it to where it looks okay, right? This adds a bit more texture to it. adding more like refinement, like details here. Always pulling and pushing in the texture, because that's how we can make it look, give those shapes a little bit more volume and indication that it is hair, rather than trying to draw every single hair strand. And you can come here, add the darks. A little bit of light here too. Switching it. And the other nice thing to do is to just unlock this. Maybe we should add dots here. Another nice thing I said, you can just remove the lock and then just add some hair strands that are not just within that, because hair is not always just so compact. You can see some coming out here. Right? And then even within it, you can have some of these darker ones. Even here, right? It can come down a little bit. Like that. Okay, so we're making lots of progress here. See how much more we can get done. Come back to here. I'd like to also add a bit of highlight to the lips. You can always use like other layer modes to add these highlights later, but add some now. That's where we're at. Do the rest of the hair. But I think, yeah. I think the nose needs a little bit more contrast. Soft round brush. So I should do the overlay for the transition. This here. Maybe it's too much. Turn it down a bit. Okay, so this is where we're at. Coming along. Okay. Alright, I think I'm gonna stop here for now, and maybe I'll continue rendering this later on and try and move it along further and further. But for now, this is what we have. And yeah, I will work on this and then I'll show you guys the end result later.